Is time an illusion? Logic alone may be enough to prove that it does not exist. At one point in one of my confessions with my spiritual father, he told me that past, present, and future exist together. I didn't dwell into what he said. Maybe another time I'll remember to ask him, or I'll research on that. But this is concerning time. The nature of time itself remains an enduring enigma, but it can be solved using logical thinking alone. Can it be solved that way? Matthias Maravik, modern physics suggests time may be an illusion, he says. Einstein's theory of relativity, for example, suggests the universe is a static four-dimensional block that contains all of space and time simultaneously with no special now. What's the future to one observer is the past to another. That means time does not flow from past to future as we experience it. Well, that to me is totally logical. I mean, I'm at the age where I am now. I'm not a baby at the same time as I was when I was, or a toddler. You know, time does pass. But anyway, going back to this clashes with how time is conceptualized in other areas of physics, such as quantum mechanics, however. So is time an illusion or not? One approach to find out would be to try to prove that time is unreal using logic alone. In 1908, J.M.E. McTaggart, an English philosopher, published a paper arguing that we might be able to work out the unreality of time just using logical thinking alone. Imagine that someone has given you a box of cards, each one representing an event. One card describes the year 2024, another one the death of Queen Victoria, another the solar eclipse of 2026. The cards have been mixed up. You have been told to arrange these cards in a way that represents time. How would you go about doing it? The first way is to use what McTaggart calls the B series. You pick up one card and place it on the floor. Then you take another one from the box and compare it with the one already on the floor. If it's earlier, you put it in front, you put it to the left. If later, you put it to the right. For example, the death of Queen Victoria goes to the left of the 2026 solar eclipse. The year 2024 goes to the left of the 2026 eclipse, but to the right of the death of Queen Victoria. You keep repeating this until you end up with a line of cards, any two of which are related using the earlier-later relation. And as you sit and look at the finished arrangement, you realize that something is missing. The line of cards is static. Once the cards have been put in place, nothing about their order changes, but as McTaggart insists, you cannot have time without change. Time is ultimately a measure of change, even according to physics. It is often identified as a rise in disorder, entropy of a closed system. Take a cup of hot coffee. As it cools down, entropy rises. And you can tell roughly how long a cup of coffee has been standing there by its temperature. Any device that measures time, such as a clock, relies on change, that is, ticks. Remember, your original job was to arrange the cards in a way that represents time, but you ended up with something that does not change. It would be odd to say that time does not change. So the B series cannot capture time. There is, however, another option. You can start again and try to arrange the cards using what McTaggart calls the A series. You create three neat piles. One on the left. On the left go all the cards describing events that happened in the past, like the death of Queen Victoria. In the middle go those happening in the present, like the year 2024. And on the right, those that will happen in the future, like 2026 solar eclipse. Unlike the B series, this arrangement is not static. As time goes on, you have to move the cards from the right, the future pile, to the middle present pile, and the ones from the present middle pile into the left past pile, where they stay forever. So there's clearly change happening there. Does that mean that the A series describes time? According to McTaggart, the A series is circular. Your hand moves the cards from the left-hand pile to the middle one and then to the into the right-hand pile as a process that already happened in time. And as you need to be in the time to be able to perform this arrangement. But time is exactly what you are trying to capture. In other words, you already need to have time in order to describe time. This is circular, and circularity violates logic. Let's sum up. The B series arrangement cannot describe time because nothing changed about it, and change is required for time. So the B series doesn't work. The A series does change, but unfortunately it is circular, so it does not work either. Since neither of these works, McTaggart concludes that time cannot be real. Well, that to me, I mean, no, time is real. Time changes. Now, that's my that's my comment to Mr. McTaggart. Now, 100 years later, over 100 years later, philosophers still searching for a solution. Some called A theories refer to try to define the A series in a way that's not circular. Others called B theories accept that the B series describes reality and say that McTaggart was wrong to require the series to change. Maybe all there is to time is just a line of events. There are also C theorists who go further and say that the line of cards does not even have a direction from earlier to later. The year 2024 goes between the death of Queen Victoria and the 2026 solar eclipse, but the fact that we are used to thinking of the death of Queen Victoria coming before the year 2026 solar eclipse rather than the other way around is perhaps just a matter of habit. It's like numbering planks on a fence that can start from whatever end you want. The fence itself has no direction. I'm not yet convinced that any of them are right. Perhaps there are different ways of thinking about time altogether. Ultimately, time will tell. And regardless of who's right, what is remarkable is that McTaggart was able to get the argument going without any findings from science, but purely by thinking logically about the problem. This is from the conversation here under Creative Commons by Matthias Moravec, Gifford Postdoctorate Fellow in Philosophy, University of St. Andrews. Well, now that you're totally muddled up with what time is, go have yourself a nice cup of coffee and, good luck. This is on Unexplained Mysteries from the conversation. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.